Hello, everyone, and welcome to episode 47 of the Made of Things podcast. I am your host, António Maria Correia. This is going to be swift, even though, well, one never knows, really. I might take a while, introductions sometimes stretch way farther than they're initially supposed to, I guess. But this is episode 47. Welcome. I hope you've been enjoying Made of Things content, social media content. Okay, so this episode's guests are the awesome band Drive Like Jehu. This is a conversation I had with Rick, John, and Mike at Primavera Sound Porto last year. This has already been on YouTube for a while now, so I hope you've seen that. The whole thing is up on YouTube on video. So if you haven't seen that, please do. Otherwise, just listen to this. This is the audio version. This is the podcast version of the show, because Made of Things is primarily a YouTube show on video. Every now and again, we'll just do podcasts, such as episodes with at Primavera Sound Barcelona, for instance, with Sons. We'll have Lush upcoming, White Reaper as well. These are things I haven't posted yet, actually, but not Sons, I mean Soons. I'm sorry, I apologize. But Soons is already up. So it happened in Barcelona last year, and stuff that's happened in previous years, such as Jonah of Fucked Up, also Tobias Gesso, and who else? Someone else. We did Mineral. Yeah, Mineral was awesome. So yeah. Oh, and American Football as well. Yeah, those are awesome shows, and those are only podcast versions of the show. Before we started doing video regularly, even though I have been working in video for a long time, but you're probably lost by now. So yeah, I should point out that again, it's been a while since I've posted shows and episodes of the show. This is mainly because I have some back issues, can't be at the computer too long, can't stand for too long, for more than 5 to 10 minutes or something, and also some wrist problems because of intense video editing. So, and also because so I can't be at the computer again for a long time, and for a long period of time, I mean. And another thing is that it's been I've been focusing on editing the video episodes, which have been coming, well, first and foremost, and those have been coming out quite regularly, so I'm happy with that. More or less once a week I post new stuff, a new episode. So that means the podcast thing is still a little delayed, and sometimes, but I wanted to post this mainly because, well, it's been too long, first off, and I apologize. But we're still doing the podcast episodes, because sometimes I have stuff to say, so that's cool. Secondly, because you can listen to them on the go. You can use iTunes and use and just walk around and drive around and listen to these, I hope, and enjoy them. And you can drive around like Jehu. Funny. Ugh. And so I don't want to miss out on the podcast thing. Plus, it gives me the chance to basically, whenever video isn't available, we still have some outlet for the show. So sometimes people don't want to be filmed, or I don't have a camera with me because I'm abroad or something. For instance, Pat Mastelotto of King Crimson, we did in Brighton. I didn't take a camera, we just did the audio thing. So yeah, the podcast thing will still exist for well, as long as I live, I guess. So as long as I'm still doing this, but which is not. I'm not stopping for the foreseeable future. So yeah. Anyways, I'm going out about in roundabout ways. So I'm going. I can't speak today. I'll explain, guys. Okay, so before we get to the show, I just want to put out something that's also. Taken me that's forced some delay upon the podcasts and the shows, which is my dad has been having some health issues for the longest time, at least for 5 years, maybe 7 years, maybe, like stuff that's not fatal, but it's potentially fatal, really. But stuff it's not like cancer or anything. So, but it's like thrombosis of the leg, and because blood can force blood clots, and you can have a stroke. And so luckily, and my dad had some heart flutter as well. He's 66 now, and what? I'm sorry, he's 64. He was born in 53, so yeah, 64. Why would I say 66? I have no idea. I'm tired, guys, I apologize. This is, so basically, he's at the hospital today, and he's probably being undergoing he's probably going to go under surgery tomorrow for fistula, which is like a really, really tiny crack on his forehead, which needs to be covered up. Well, the thing is, because he cannot. This is not very common. He fell about a year ago, and he fell and landed with his head. Well, his head went against this verdict of this what do you call it? Like the edge of a table. At this shopping mall. So as if all the stuff he had before wasn't enough, now he has to deal with this. And the problem with this is mainly the thing. It's dangerous because it really if he catches a cold, he might get what's it called? The name of the thing in English. Meningitis. So it was just the same in Portuguese, which is meningite. So it's the same. But yeah, if he catches meningitis, then shit will just be very difficult to handle. So, and all of like the 4 or 5 or 6 things that he has can become extremely dangerous. So I wanted to post this because whoever's listening to this, I'd just like to ask to send out good vibes for my dad. And I love my dad, and I love my family. So my sister and my who works on the show all the time, and shoots second cameras and takes pictures, official pictures and stuff like that. And my mom, and yeah, I love my family. So yeah, I wanted to put this out, and we're all praying for my dad, and he's in very good mood. As much as I rationalize this, and there's no real fear. I mean, there's no real reason to be fearful, really, in terms of rationalizing the process, and I'll explain. The thing is that he's at the hospital. He's at the hospital, and he's under surveillance, and as long as he's being watched and monitored, then the risk is much smaller. So that's one way of not being totally worried. He's having surgery probably tomorrow. We don't know because there's a strike. But the thing is, because of the blood clots thing, he has to take some blood thinners, which means that any cut on his body can become very, very, very dangerous. So obviously undergoing surgery and having to be open in any way, which isn't too much. They're going in through his nose, into his head, so onto the forehead, and apparently it's just medically complicated, this procedure to fill up the bone, but it's not open heart surgery, and we'll get to that because he's not undergoing open heart surgery this year at all, but he is going to replace a valve in his heart later this year. So this is the first of at least two. So interventions. So yeah, I'm not going to bother you guys too longer with this. I apologize to Drive Like Jehu. This has nothing to do with the guys. Okay, so here's just asking for your not prayers but good vibes. Just send out positive energy for my dad, please, and thank you. And thank you for listening to this. Yeah, so about Drive Like Jehu. This is the first time I met John, who was the frontman for Rocket from the Crypt, which is an excellent band, and also played with Rick in Hot Snakes, which are even better, maybe, probably. And then and they have both Drive Like Jehu albums are awesome. Really, I would call this pertains to a genre, if at all, in my head at least, which I call like nihilistic rock. It's just like I would place them in this sort of spirit, which I would guess is nihilistic in terms of art, not in terms of the guys. The guys are I have no idea if they're a nihilist or not. So Rick I had met before because of Obits, and the Obits interview is really fun, especially because of Rick is just a lot of fun, and Sorab is the best dude on earth, and Alexis is a sweetheart, and Greg was really nice, even though he's more quiet. And this interview, I'll call it an interview because it's on on video, and it's not an episode of Made of Things. It's this happened like 5 or 6 years ago, and this was for the place I used to work, and but I recommend you watching this. This is on the Made of Things YouTube channel, and it was a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun, and I've remained friends with the guys, and Sorab I speak to regularly, and he has a new band called Savak, which you should check out. Again, it's really good. So and the Obits were in Lisbon, so I spoke to them like 5 or 6 years ago, maybe 6 years ago, I think, going on 6 years. And so I had met Rick before, and but this time, we ended up not being so silly and ending up. This was before Trump got elected, so we ended up speaking a lot about that. Not that I want to make this show political, but things are what they are, and you just hang out with people, and most of this is about politics, oddly enough. And I didn't want to speak too much about the music of Drive Like Jehu, because I think it speaks for itself. A friend of mine recently posted on Facebook this quote by I'm not a quotes guy, but this quote by Frank Zappa, who says that speaking about, and I'm paraphrasing, speaking about something, like writing about not this doesn't make sense. Architecturing a book or something. I don't know. Just like this stupid. I don't remember. I'm sorry, Frank. You're awesome, and I forgot. But yeah. But you get what I mean. Like, doesn't make too much sense to speak about music. So. Because sometimes it does, but very rarely it does. And with Drive Like Jehu, these dudes, I mean, are riff monsters. The riffs are awesome. The time signatures are awesome. This is really dry, hard-hitting rock, and it does not fuck around, guys. If you can ever watch them, and these were reunion shows, and I watched both the Barcelona ones and the both the Barcelona one and the Porto one, and the Porto one might have been even better, I guess. They had more fans over there, I think, over here in Portugal. So and the shows were kick ass. These shows were amazing, and I've watched Obits and I've watched Hot Snakes, and I've seen all of them live, and but Drive Like Jehu really hit hard. And it's a show I would love to see again. Again, there's some footage of this on the video episode, so if you want to check that out, it's up on YouTube. Again, I recommend this, and guys, again, a word out for my dad. Don't forget to subscribe, and I would say you could smash as people say now, you could smash the YouTube subscribe button and like button. But the thing is, if you click it too much and you smash it like over and over again, even though smash might mean, if you click it on it over and over again, maybe you can unclick it and unsubscribe, and no one wants that. So maybe smash only means like hitting it really hard once, but smashing to me is just like hitting it repeatedly. I guess it's just like cognitively, that's what it brings me to. So yeah. By the way, speaking of dads, I spoke to Steve Gunn last year and this year. I spoke to him. This was the last recorded episode we did recently. And it's going up very soon. The first one is already up with Steve. He's a sweetheart. Love the dude. Chillest and simplest person there is. So no bullshit at all. So and we spoke about, because of my dad, we spoke about his dad as well. So I guess dads, please enjoy this conversation with Rick, John, and Mike of Drive Like Jehu at Primavera Sound. Oh, I totally forgot to plug my stuff. I'm sorry, I'm all over the place. Oh, this is the wonkiest intro of all time. Guys, YouTube, if you're not already listening to this on YouTube, you have Facebook. Just posted some comedy stuff on there that I made last night about Eurovision in Portugal, and there's Twitter. I also say weird stuff on there, and Instagram, and I think that's it. Instagram's fun. So yeah, but it's mostly YouTube, and you can always download these on the page, and there's always links to that, and you can listen to this and subscribe on iTunes, which is always important. So thank you. So there's the plugs. After 19 minutes of ranting and going on about nothing or some stuff, or way too longer than I should have. It was supposed to be a short intro. I guess not. I apologize. But there you have it. Please enjoy. And go listen to the records. The records are fucking amazing. Drive Like Jehu at Primavera Sound. Thank you. Over there should be good. On that bench.
In the porta potty.
Yes, that would be perfect. Yeah. Hello. Hello. Okay. This is change of plan, so it's fine. It's great. Planazo.
You go right there.
So how are you guys? Good.
Good. Yeah.
Great.
I am good.
Identify yourselves, please, because the part of this is audio. So
Yeah. I am good. I'm John from Drive Like Jehu.
Mike from Drive Like Jehu.
And how are you, Mike?
Swell.
It's both.
Doing well, Rick.
It's an ID and your current state. Yeah, but what's the yankest of crimes at the moment?
Yankest of crimes?
Yes,
Dude.
because there's plenty.
Well, that's a double meaning. Yank crime.
Yeah.
Yank is like
Uh-huh.
What is? Dude, I don't know. You decide.
Sure.
You choose. There's so many. Yeah.
I don't think it's kind of for us to say.
Okay. Well, there's the general election now, and which is sort of a young crime of sorts, or could be.
No crime has been committed yet.
Yes.
It's all legal so far.
True.
Yeah.
So far, it's all good.
legal. Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't believe that you change the face. You swap out the face of this just giant machine and like it changes that much. I think it's going to be the same. I think people will hate Donald Trump. People will be like, that guy's awful and he's terrible. But it'll be the same shit that it was before. It's not going to change. It's going to be the same.
Did you guys listen to Obama on Mark Maron, for instance? President Obama. He went on
Mark Maron.
He was on Mark Maron's show. Yeah.
He's like the hippest president ever, right?
Yeah, exactly. He was.
No, I didn't listen to
he
it.
said like you can't change. He would like to do more, but he can't change. You can't if you're the captain of a ship. You can't just turn the ship 90 degrees, otherwise it'll flip.
But you're not the captain of a ship. You're the public relations person for the ship. That's all you are. That's what you are. You're not. Your job as president in my country is to answer to the public and to present the face of the country. And why Obama was a good president, because he didn't do anything different than Bush, really. He really didn't. But he seemed cool. He's
A politician.
Not a politician, exactly. He didn't seem like he was insulting your intelligence. He was smart. I'm glad he was our president, but now we're gonna have somebody who's gonna be one of the two is they're both awful. So
You could never go up, really. It would be very difficult.
Going back on something Rick said earlier, it's like, I mean, basically the U.S. Constitution and government and everything is basically built to be ineffective and not change drastically, so that there never is any kind of steep arc to some radical ideal. So
There has been a lot of really good that has come out of the last 8 years, though.
Yeah, no,
Gay
but
people getting married, that's great.
social stuff like that, yeah.
Healthcare and stuff like that has been better, maybe.
Healthcare, I think the healthcare thing is bogus. I'm sorry. I think it's taking. Okay.
It is bogus, but it's a step in the right direction.
Okay.
It's not perfect. Actually, I don't have it. It doesn't work for me.
Okay.
And it is making healthcare worse in the country in terms.
It's just delivering people. There's a penalty if you don't buy this healthcare from a private insurer. You have to pay, whatever, 700 euros or whatever at the end of the tax year or whatever. So you have to buy it, and you have to buy it from a private insurer. And unless you're a low income person, fortunately I am, you're paying up the ass for shitty health insurance. It's not like here or any other European country. It's still the same shit, but you have to buy it now. Before you could just kind of like walk in and like give a fake name or whatever, or do something like that.
Wow. Okay. Because it's baffling actually to, I don't know, as a European, like it's always baffling.
It's baffling.
It's baffling.
I mean,
because we have it, as healthcare and mandatory healthcare, but it's like it's not necessarily good, but at least you can, for like 15 euros or less, you can get basic treatment or something.
But what if you get cancer?
Well, there's still some treatments not the best. It's still separated in terms of what you're able to afford, always, but it's still going to be very expensive. But if the basic needs are there always, that doesn't necessarily need to be the best. And sometimes public health care is the best, and sometimes it isn't. It depends on what your illness is, and depends on where you live. And there's a lot of problems with ours, but it's, as far as it goes, it's apparently very good. I'm not the best person to speak about that, but still, it's baffling that, for instance, for a longest time that you guys in the U.S. didn't have one. So for us, it was like, how do you even exist? You know, because
in healthcare in the U.S. we spend an enormous amount of money, maybe most of the money even, on a for-profit middleman that does nothing.
Oh,
I mean, it's health insurance. All they do is delegate and allocate and blah 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 blah. They're not actually doing anything.
And the prices you get charged aren't real prices. They're adjusted through an insurance company, so you never really know how much money is even going back and forth.
Oh wow! So, you cannot just very difficult to understand. They make it so that you don't understand. They really everywhere. Like,
taxes and stuff like that.
Exactly.
It's designed to, it's like the law. It's designed to be not understood by the average person. So you have to hire a person to interpret it for you and blah blah blah.
Once a year you have to, like in the U.S. we have to fill in our taxes and stuff like that, and it's always a puzzle, isn't it? Like, is it the same for you guys? It's like you do not understand. It's always it's online now, and you have to kind of figure it out yourself.
I hired an accountant.
There you go.
Well, who knows what's going on, and he's a criminal, almost. So like, or I mean, that's
the kind of thing you wanted to say in an interview.
He's not a criminal.
You forgot his name.
He's like your Better Call Saul of accountants, kind of.
It's the good kind of criminal then.
Well, yeah, it's a lot.
My accountant's above board and completely honest.
Same with me.
It's honest. It's legal. It's like whatever. It's not. I'm just saying. It's just like I'm just saying that like he knows the loopholes. He knows the bullshit. He knows how to help me not pay. If I go to H&R Block and they just like do everything above the board like normal, like you shouldn't really deduct that. It's like fuck that, man. I'm deducting everything. Americans hate to fucking pay taxes. That's one thing we hate.
Yeah.
That's why we are America. We hate taxes.
That's why Republicans exist.
Yeah.
Basically, just for the sole reason of trying to not to. Yeah, just try.
That was the whole point. No taxation without representation.
And libertarians and stuff like that who what?
Fucking crazy. They're fucking crazy. It's like anarchy for rich people. That's what it is. That's what libertarians are, and they fuck them. They're stupid. They're from space.
It's almost kind of the same of running your own, campaign based on just pure will and ability and financial ability, right? Kind of, more or less.
Yeah,
not to make this too serious, but
to go back to the libertarians or the Tea Party people, it's like it's funny.
Not the same.
It's like they want.
Okay,
well then the Tea Party people, they want to cut out all of government, but then they still want their Social Security and don't cut any of the benefits that they want. It's
and
like
religion in the government too.
They're just pissed people, but they're more right wing.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of pissed people, and that's why you have this crazy election. Like people, it's not Donald Trump that's scary. He's not scary at all. This whole thing is a joke. It's a trick. It's like a publicity stunt for his brand and his whole thing. But the problem is that there's a bunch of people who actually believe Donald Trump will be a good president, and that's scary. That's
those
crazy.
Are the scary ones.
Yeah. Oh, I saw him on TV. He's gonna save America.
I think it goes to show you how good things are for most Americans. Actually, things are so good for people that I think there's something about human nature, or maybe about being in America. I don't know if it happens everywhere, but where you just like want to fucking fuck shit up.
We're bored. We need to fight. We need to start a war. We need to, like, same thing with like right-wing guys, like, immigrants,
We don't have the immigrant problems that you have in Europe.
We're fucking all immigrants. We're all immigrants.
Yeah. I was.
Bring them over.
It's funny. It's funny.
Who cares?
The president of Hasbro told me that. I was here in Portugal. I was interviewing him, and I said the toy company, and they're huge. I was saying, well, if we're not immigrants now, we all were at some point at least. So we need to pay attention to this whole thing. So it's very, very, very forward thinking for someone who holds such a, I don't know.
But it's different here because at the risk of like bumming out people out, I think what Angela Merkel did was really stupid. Like saying like, okay, everyone come, walk across fucking Turkey, Slovenia, Romania, blah, 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 all these different countries. And what happens is like, who ends up being there is an army of dudes. It's a bunch of men, because women and children cannot walk that far. And if you wanted to actually get these refugees, go get them in a fucking boat, in a plane, bring them back, bring the women and children, and let the military-age dudes like try to save their fucking country. I just don't. It's like the whole refugee thing is so weird here. It's not like that in the U.S. It's like, I don't give a fuck who comes to the U.S. Bring it on. Come on. Join the fun. Join the fracas.
It's a country really made out of that, and all countries are really.
That's all
what are borders?
From Alaska, from Canada to Tierra del Fuego. That's all America, and it's all different than Europe. It's not. We have a different sort of post-colonial attitude about things, and we're not Europe. It's different, and we're made of immigrants, all of us, except for the poor, unfortunate native people who were exterminated, who used to live there.
Well, not to just to.
Sorry about Jehu.
Yeah, exactly. No, we're not supposed to try to talk about anything really, but we are supposed to talk about one thing, because the show is called Made of Things, and it's based on the assumption that, well, you dedicate yourself to music and whatever art you do because you heard something or read something or watched something that made you go like, oh, I want to do that forever. Did you guys have that moment, and what was it? Because sometimes people do, sometimes people don't. Like, for instance,
A singular moment.
What, a couple of moments maybe, tradition, your own act, or maybe you were watching something, oh, I want to do that, or you were playing your guitar and I don't know, whatever it was to you.
I cannot personally remember a single moment where I was like, this is what I want to do. Ooh, you're getting bit too.
Oh, thank you.
You're getting harassed. There it is.
Yeah. Thank you. Those are the only animals that are okay to kill, I think.
Roaches.
Yeah, roaches. Yeah.
Roaches okay. Steak is okay to kill. Shrimps. Octopuses.
Okay, no animals are okay to kill unless they're delicious. Then, okay. That's not good.
Yeah. That's gonna fly with a lot of people. Yeah.
But so you guys know I was watching something and then I want to do that. No, that.
It's hard to kind of maybe explain, because when I was a little kid, I listened to records. I would have I had this one record where it was a kid's record, and it was classical music for children, and it had a little booklet with some kind of like cartoons in it and some stories about some classical composers. And the record, it came with a baton, a conductor's baton, and I remember conducting, just because I like this record, to no one, just kind of listening to it. And I had another record that was like it was kind of a novelty record of like novelty songs from the 60s, whatever. No, it was like, does your chewing gum lose its flavor on the bedpost overnight? Like, Mrs. Brown, you got a lovely daughter, like all these kind of songs. And I always liked music. It was always something really important to me, and just sound in general. And I started playing guitar around 12 years old, so later, and I got a guitar and would play guitar, and I didn't have lessons yet, and I would make up songs based on just kind of making noises and stuff. And so there's always been a thing, and then I did this, and then I did this, and this, and then so here I am now, playing guitar, writing songs, playing with my friends, making noise, and it really, the process now feels completely identical to when I was listening to a record, conducting to a blank wall, or my first guitar. It doesn't feel, it's never felt different. It's never felt any more important or less important.
Okay.
It's always been the same.
Okay.
That doesn't mean that like that was as good as this is. But I'm just saying, at the time when you're doing it, it's always felt the same, Okay. And so it's this feeling that you want to continue, and in order to continue that, you got to do something else, and you have to make something new, or if not make something new, create in a way that it's like you have that feeling, and it feels like that's what you were put here to do, you know.
Sure. But it must have been a moment since from conducting what you were saying to picking up a guitar. There's a transition. I mean, there's
When you start playing an actual instrument.
Exactly.
When I was a kid, when I was in like I don't know, like second or first grade. My first record I ever bought was a Beatles record or whatever. Beatles 4, the one that hits on it, like Kansas City and shit like that.
Me too.
And we used to go. Beatles 4. Is it Beatles 4? Like when they're all holding hands, like or they're all like, they're kind of wearing like has no hits on it. Which is the only Beatles
Past
record.
Masters thing, like but Past Masters my generation. Because my first record was Past Masters, Beatles Past Masters, but it's a mastered singles, and then this.
Older than you. So like that was I should check out like Help from the library until I destroyed it. We used to play we used to pretend we're the Beatles at recess. We just I was always Ringo. I would like put pencils on my lunchbox or whatever. But it was like it was just like rock and roll, man. It's so cool. And it just never goes away. It's just like it's so fucking fun. It's like the best fucking thing. I mean, there's nothing like it. There's something like it, but I won't be vulgar. But like it's but yeah, it's super fun.
Rick, you were here for the Obit show in Lisbon a couple of years ago.
Primavera. And Primavera before with Hot Snakes.
Oh, okay. Okay.
So we played here at the same stage, and it's a beautiful site, and it's very nice, and it's a beautiful city. We had an amazing lunch at, what's the restaurant called?
Kaja Leju. Kaja Leju.
Okay.
Great.
It was amazing.
I don't know because I'm not from here, but yeah.
Okay, it's polvo or pulpo?
Polvo.
Okay.
Polvo is...
Because polvo is dirt in Spanish, which is funny. Polvo is dust in Spanish.
It's like really?
So it's dust.
So it's polvo because in Italian it's polvere, which are very similar sounding words. Yeah.
False friend.
They're false friends.
False friends. Yeah, I gotta watch out for those.
You know your languages. Yeah. I saw your banter in Barcelona. it was funny. It was pretty funny.
Fatal.
See. So how is it like for you guys to be back together, playing for Jehu?
It's good. We're having fun. Yeah, it's been awesome.
And did you guys miss it in any way, or did, like, for instance, Hot Snakes make up for playing together in a certain way? It's different material, of course.
Did I miss it? Yeah. Well, I miss playing with the guys for sure. I mean, it's I think that's kind of why we're doing it, is because part of all of us misses it, so that's why we want to do it again.
And do you think that Jehu takes up a particular part, a significant emotional part in your band's history, would you say?
Well, we were a lot younger when we did it. I'm gonna go like this.
Oh, sure.
We were a lot younger when we did it, and so it's different. But I think that now that we're older, it's still working. It's fun. We enjoy it a lot. Actually, I enjoy it more. It's more fun than it ever was. So.
For me, I mean, it's been 20 years, right? I haven't played with anybody since then. So coming back and doing this is just like wonderful, just absolutely wonderful, man. I can't say anything more than that.
What did you do in the meantime? Because these guys have different bands and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a scientist, and it's just boring lab work, and we don't need to talk about it.
Okay, sure, it's fine. But for instance, guys, what's the? Do you believe that, like, the material changes itself? Not changes itself, but the perception of the material changes over time. Which is it? You said it's more fun now, but is it like even
the perception of what? What people think?
No, your own perception of the songs. Does it change? Like, do you think even the material is better now?
I don't know if it's better. It changes because we change and it's different. And how do you answer this question? You don't look at it the same way.
You kind of like find that there were songs that you remember from 20 years ago that you like. Oh yeah, that was great. And then you know, and we have some of the other songs, and we're finding that some of the other songs were like, they're all old, but we didn't play a lot of them. And then we've come back and revisited them and like found them more compelling, I think.
Yeah. Okay. So it has gained power, like the Jehu idea. The idea of the band and its material.
I think we play better. We'll see, but I think that we play better now because I'm not like Mike. I played for a while after Jehu, so it's. I have a different perspective on what we're doing. Like, you know, playing an obits like informs you about like, oh, well, maybe I shouldn't do that here, or maybe I should not do that here. It's a lot of taking things out for me. Like, it's like I shouldn't do that.
Do you guys see each other playing new material together?
Well, the problem is we all live we're very far flung. I live in New York City. These guys live in San Diego. Mike works a lot. Mark lives in Los Angeles. So for us to get together and like compose stuff, it would be. Like the songs we're gonna play, those took a while for us to, because it's a very democratic process. So like everyone wants to like what they're doing, and like, and so it's not like a normal band where like you just like there's one guy who like was like, all right, his song goes like this and blah blah blah. It's this whole group thing. So if we could make the time to do that, we could do it. No one's against it. Everyone's into it. But like it's just a matter of time.
Okay.
I think it will happen. It just needs to be. Probably, it's not going to be next week though.
Okay, cool. That's awesome. That would be great if you guys did anything. But it's understandable though.
It wouldn't be the same. It wouldn't be the same.
Okay, maybe under a different name or maybe the same.
Just would be we use the same name, sure. But it would be different music, I think.
Okay. Thanks, guys. It's been great. Thanks. Way more serious than what I do.